For years, Scar's name has been a mystery wrapped in guesses. Everyone knows he's the villain from The Lion King, but nobody ever really knew how he got that deep, jagged scar across his eye that became a part of his identity, and fans have been trying to figure it out ever since. Some thought it was a punishment or a harsh lesson from his own father, maybe after breaking the rules or causing trouble. Others believed it came from a fight with a dangerous Cape buffalo. That theory said Scar tried to hunt the animal, failed, and barely escaped alive. Then came the strangest one of all, a snake bite. That story came from The Lion Guard, where Scar gets bitten during a dark, magical moment. But even that version left too many gaps. Now, things have changed. The Mufasa movie has finally opened the door, and what's inside is something no one expected. It's not just about a scar, it's about betrayal, heartbreak, and a brotherhood that slowly fell apart. And for the first time, we finally have the real answer. And once you hear it, you'll never look at Scar the same way again. Because this isn't just about how he got hurt, it's about the moment that changed him forever. Scar and Mufasa didn't start out as enemies. In fact, they weren't even real brothers. Scar's original name was Taka, and he was just a young cub when he found Mufasa all alone, wandering in the wild. Mufasa was lost, scared, and had no one. But Taka didn't walk away. He brought the cub back home, hoping his family would let him stay. Taka's father, Obasi, was the ruler of their pride. He was strong and proud, and he didn't make decisions lightly. When Taka asked to keep Mufasa, Obasi didn't say yes right away. He said there would be a race, one that would decide who could stay and who would earn the right to rule one day. It wasn't just a simple game. It was a test of strength, speed, and heart. But for Taka, it wasn't about power. It was about having someone to call his brother. He had always wanted that kind of bond, someone to talk to, laugh with, and stand beside. And as time passed, that's exactly what he got. Taka and Mufasa grew close. They played, trained, and watched the stars together. Taka finally felt like he wasn't alone. At least that's how it started. Before everything fell apart, they were just two cubs chasing the same dream, side by side. It was supposed to be a quiet day. The pride had settled near the edge of the savannah, where the grass grew tall and the breeze was soft. Ase, one of the lionesses, had wandered a little too far from the group, chasing birds near the hills. No one noticed the danger until it was too late. Two white lions appeared out of the grass like ghosts, tall, lean, and hungry for a fight. And standing behind them was Kiros, their leader. He didn't roar or move. He just watched, his eyes cold and fixed on Ise. Ise fought back, but she was quickly overpowered. Just as she was about to fall, Mufasa rushed in. He didn't hesitate for a second. With a loud roar, he threw himself into the fight, pushing back one lion and shielding Ise with his body. The grass shook as the three lions clashed, claws cutting through fur, roars echoing in every direction. It wasn't easy, but Mufasa held his ground, slowly forcing them to retreat. Taka was nearby. He had seen everything. He had even locked eyes with Mufasa in the middle of the chaos, but he didn't move. He stayed hidden, heart pounding, fear holding him in place. When the danger passed and the pride gathered around Mufasa, Taka stepped out like nothing had happened. But that moment, his silence, his fear, and Mufasa's bravery left a mark deeper than any scar ever could. Taka couldn't stop thinking about that day. He told himself he wasn't afraid, just caught off guard. But deep down, he knew the truth. Mufasa had been brave, Taka had frozen, and now everyone looked at Mufasa like a hero. Taka's pride started to twist into jealousy, and that jealousy started turning into something darker. One night, he slipped away from the Pride Lands and met with the outsiders. Kiros listened as Taka spoke quietly, offering a path that led straight to where Mufasa and Sarabi often went. He didn't ask for anything in return. He just wanted to see Mufasa fall. But as the sun rose and the plan unfolded, the weight of what he had done hit him hard. Mufasa and Sarabi were surrounded once again. This time, the fight was fiercer. The outsiders didn't hold back. Mufasa pushed through the crowd, trying to keep Sarabi safe, but there were too many. Watching it all, Taka felt something snap. He leapt into the fight, not to attack, but to defend. Just as Kiros charged at Mufasa, Taka stepped in front. The swipe came fast, sharp, and unforgiving. It slashed across Taka's eye, dropping him to the ground. And in that single moment, everything changed. His face was marked, and so was his future. Taka's scar wasn't just on his face anymore. It spread into every part of him, his thoughts, his heart, and how others looked at him. After the fight, the pride saw Mufasa as stronger than ever. He had survived 2 attacks, kept everyone safe, and earned even more respect. But Taka, he was quiet, distant, different. Sarabi was the final blow. She had once laughed with him, shared stories, and made him feel like he mattered. Taka had hoped, maybe foolishly, that she'd choose him, but she didn't. She chose Mufasa, not because of power, not because of fear, but because she saw good in him, real good, the kind Taka had buried under lies and anger. Feeling small and ashamed, Taka didn't blame her. He blamed himself. He looked at his reflection, at the scar carved deep across his eye, and saw a name forming inside his mind, Scar. Not as an insult, but as truth. A name that would remind him of everything he had done wrong, of the brother he couldn't beat, of the pride he couldn't lead, of the love he couldn't win. So he took it, spoke it out loud. From that day forward, Taka Taka was gone. Scar was all that remained, a lion marked by pain, regret, and a past he could never fix. Over the years, fans came up with all kinds of stories to explain how Scar got his scar. One said his father gave it to him as punishment. Another claimed a Cape buffalo attacked him during a hunt. Then there was the version from the Lion Guard, where a snake bite during a magical ceremony left a mark on his face. Each one tried to give a reason, a purpose behind the name Scar, but none of them ever felt complete. They focused on the moment of the scar, not the emotion behind it. They didn't explain why Taka changed so deeply. Why did he turn against Mufasa? Why did he let anger and jealousy take over his whole life? These stories made the scar a random event, just something that happened to him. They missed the part where he caused it. The new Mufasa movie finally fills in the gaps. It doesn't just show us how the scar appeared, it shows us why. It gives us the full picture, the bond he had with Mufasa, the betrayal, the regret, and the pain he carried. The scar wasn't just a wound, it was a choice, a memory, a name he chose to wear as punishment. That's what sets the new story apart. It's not just about a mark, it's about everything that led to it. In the Lion Guard, Scar's scar came from a venomous snake. The story went like this. A lion named Askari, who led the original Lion Guard, chose Taka to follow in his footsteps. But a sly snake tricked Taka during a ritual, convincing him that power should be used for control, not protection. Taka leaned into that idea, and when he tried to summon the roar with dark thoughts, the snake bit him near the eye. That moment gave him the scar and started his fall into darkness. It was a wild story, full of magic, talking snakes, and ancient powers. And for a while, fans thought it made sense. It gave Scar a reason to turn, a clear moment where everything changed. But the new Mufasa movie says something different, and honestly, something more real. Instead of being cursed or tricked, Scar made his own choices. He wasn't pushed by magic or dark forces. His scar came from his own betrayal, his jealousy, his guilt. That's a much deeper story, one that shows how emotions can twist a heart more than any snake ever could. So while the Lion Guard had its version, the new canon takes a stronger path. It gives Scar's scar a meaning that actually fits with who he becomes and why he chose that name. The Mufasa movie finally clears the air about Scar's past, not through whispers or half-truths, but directly from Mufasa himself. He doesn't dodge the pain or gloss over the betrayal. Instead, he opens up about the day that tore their bond apart. According to Mufasa, Taka had already been growing distant, but nothing could have prepared him for what came next. Taka secretly guided the outsiders back to where Mufasa and Sarabi were resting, knowing full well what it would lead to. When the white lions attacked again, chaos erupted, but this time it wasn't like before. There was no moment of hesitation. The fight was brutal, with Kiros leading the charge. Mufasa tried to protect Sarabi just as he had before, but the numbers were overwhelming. Then, something unexpected happened. Taka stepped forward, not out of courage, but out of guilt. He realized too late what he had done. In an effort to fix it, he threw himself between Kiros and Mufasa, taking the hit meant for his brother. Kiros's claws slashed across Taka's eye, leaving a deep, permanent scar, not just on his face, but on everything that came after. That moment wasn't about bravery, it was about regret. And from that day on, the scar became a symbol, not of war or punishment, but of betrayal, guilt, and everything Scar wished he could undo. What if things had gone differently for Scar? Could he have found a way back to the brother he once cared for? Or would the bitterness have eventually consumed him regardless? It's easy to imagine how one small decision could have changed everything. What if Taka hadn't led the outsiders to Mufasa and Sarabi that fateful day? If he hadn't betrayed Mufasa, would Scar's scar even exist? Could the bond between them have been repaired? Or was it already too late by then? These questions open up a world of what-ifs. If Taka had acted differently in that moment of regret, would he have been able to undo the damage? Would he have remained Mufasa's brother, rather than becoming the twisted Scar we know today? Fate is often unpredictable, and Scar's story shows how a series of choices, some born from jealousy and others from guilt, led to the life he ended up with. As viewers, it's hard not to wonder, was Scar always doomed by his own decisions, or could he have turned things around? The scar on his face became a constant reminder of the paths he took and the choices he made. It's a powerful symbol of how one pivotal moment can define a lifetime. So, what do you think? Do you prefer the new canon explanation of Scar's scar from the Mufasa movie, or do you lean more toward one of the older theories, like the snake bite or the Cape Buffalo incident? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let us know which version you believe makes the most sense. And hey, if you're as into the world of the Lion Guard as we are, stay tuned for our next video. We'll be diving into Kion's story and uncovering some hidden secrets about his journey. Trust us, you won't want to miss it.